everyone, welcome to Proper with Calm. Today we will continue our part 2 of 100 Ways to Motivate Others. Let's get started. Method number 5. Stop criticizing upper management. Quote, "Two things are bad for the heart, running uphill and running down people," by Bernard Gimble. This is a huge temptation. To distance yourself from your own superiors. Maybe you do this to win favour and create bonding at the victim level with the team, but it won't work. In fact, what you have done will eventually damage the confidence of the team. It will send 3 messages that are very damaging to morale and motivation. 1. This organisation can't be trusted. 2. Our own management is against us. 3. Yours truly, your own team leader, is weak and powerless in the organisation. This leads to an unpleasant but definite kind of bonding, but it also leads to deep trust problems and further disrespect for the integrity of the organisation. Running down upper management can be done covertly, a rolling of the eyes at the mention of the CFO's name, or overtly. "I don't know why we're doing this. No one ever consults with me on company policy, probably because they know I disagree." This mistake is deepened by the repeated use of the word they. They want us to start. I don't know why they are having us do it this way. They don't understand what you guys are going through here. They. The word they, used in excess, soon becomes a near obscenity and solidifies the impression that we are isolated, misunderstood victims. A true leader has the courage to represent upper management, not run it down. A true leader never uses the word they to refer to senior officials in the company. A true leader says we. In method number 5, we learned that being one of the leaders, you are a significant part of the company. The way you represent your upper management reflects on you, implying that you are representing yourself. You should approach the issue by discussing it with your upper management properly, rather than placing all the blame on them and criticizing them covertly. This approach not only provides a solution, but also prevents the company from appearing trustworthy and demotivating your teams. Method number 6. Do the one thing. Management is doing things right. Leadership is doing the right things, by Peter Drucker. I can't motivate others if I am not doing the right thing. And to keep myself in a relaxed and centered state, it's important for me to not be scattered, distracted, or spread thin. It's important that I don't race around thinking that I've got too much to do. Because I don't have too much to do. The truth is, there is only one thing to do, and that is the one thing I have chosen to do right now. If I do that one thing as if it's all I have to think about, it will be extremely well done. And my relationship with any other person involved will be better and more relaxed and full of trust than before. A careful study of my past week shows me that I did a lot of things last week, and they all got done one thing at a time. In fact, even in my busiest time ever, I was only able to do one thing at a time, even though I stressed myself and other people out by always thinking of 7 things at once. So when I talked to you, all I could think about was the 7 other people I needed to talk to. So eventually, all 7 people felt that stress and that lack of attentiveness. That absolute lack of warmth. Doing more than one thing at a time produces fear, adrenaline, and anxiety in the human system, and people pick up on that. People are not drawn to that. They keep away from that. The mind entertains one thought at a time, and only one. The greatest cause of feeling swamped and overwhelmed in life is caused by not knowing this. The greatest source of stress in the workplace is the mind's attempt to carry many thoughts, many tasks, many future scenarios, many cares, many worries, many concerns at once. The mind can't do that. No mind can, not even Einstein's mind could. One thing. I need to choose from the list of things that need to be done, and then do the one thing as if that were the only thing. If it's a phone call, then I need to slow down and relax and let myself be in a good mood so that the phone call will be a good experience and the recipient and I can be complete afterward. We talked to Jason last week, a national sales manager who had just finished a brutal, long phone conference with his team. He spent the conference call nervously urging his team onto higher numbers and warning them that the team goals were not going to be met at the rate they were going. He had called the meeting because his own superiors had just called him to question him about his team's poor performance. Although Jason had been working 12-hour days, he felt he was falling behind in everything. On top of that, his superior's anxiety was then passed down to him. Because it was passed down into a hectic, disorganized mind, he freaked out and took it out on his team. This is not motivation. Motivation requires a calm, centered leader focused on one thing and only one thing. Method number 6 makes a valuable point about working experience, suggesting that focusing on one task at a time leads to more effective work and increased attainability within a timely manner. Method number 7. Keep giving feedback. The failure to give appropriate and timely feedback is the most extreme cruelty that we can inflict on any human being. By Charles Coonrat, management consultant. Human beings crave feedback. Try ignoring any 3-year-old. At first, he will ask for positive attention, but if he is continually ignored, soon you will hear a loud crash or cry, because any feedback, even negative feedback, is better than no feedback. Some people think that principle only applies to children. But it applies even more to adults. The cruelest form of punishment in prison is solitary confinement. Most prisoners will do anything, even temporarily improve their behavior, to avoid being in a situation with little or no feedback. You may have briefly experienced the relaxing effect of a sensory deprivation chamber. You are placed for a few minutes in a dark, cocoon-like chamber, floating in body temperature salt water, with all light and sound cut off. It's great for a few minutes, but not for long. One day, the sole worker at one of these sensory deprivation tanks walked off the job in a huff over some injustice at work, leaving a customer trapped in the chamber. Several hours later, the customer was rescued, but still had to be hospitalized. Not from any physical abuse, but from the psychosis caused by deprivation of sensory feedback. What occurs when all outside feedback is cut off is that the mind manufactures its own sensory feedback in the form of hallucinations that often personify the person's worst fears. The resulting nightmares and terrors can drive even normal people to the point of insanity. Your own people are no different. If you cut off the feedback, their minds will manufacture their own feedback, quite often based on their worst fears. It's no accident that trust and communication are the two organizational problems most often cited by employee surveys. One of the most notorious military and secret intelligence torture devices over the years has been to place a recalcitrant prisoner into the black room. The time spent in total sensory deprivation breaks prisoners faster than physical beatings. Let's take the scene home. The husband is encouraging his wife to get ready for an evening event on time. She asks, "How does this jacket look on me?" "Fine, just fine, let's go." "Well, I knew I didn't look good in it. I just can't find anything else to wear," she says. Human beings crave real feedback, not just some patronizing, pacifying words. The managers who have the biggest trouble motivating their people are the ones who give the least feedback. And when their people say, "How are we doing?" they say, "Well, I don't know. I haven't looked at the print out or anything, but I have a sense that we're doing pretty well this month, but I don't know." Those managers have a much harder time inspiring achievement in their teams. Achievement requires continuous feedback. And if you're going to get the most out of your people, it's imperative that you be the one who is the most up on what the numbers are and what they mean. Because motivators do their homework. They know the score. And they keep feeding the score back to their people. In Method 7, providing insight on offering feedback is essential and should not be lacking in any organization. Employees improve in performing their tasks when they understand how to enhance and develop gradually from their previous performance. They require genuine feedback from their superiors, who should consistently check and observe performance to ensure that the expected results are delivered. Therefore, prioritizing feedback provision to each of your teams is crucial for measuring improvement. Method number 8. Get input from your people. I not only use all the brains I have, but all I can borrow. By Woodrow Wilson, good leaders continue to seek creative input from their direct reports. This practice is not only good for the business, it's also highly motivational for both parties to the conversation. A good leader will ask people on her team, "How can we send a signal over the phone when the customer calls with a question that we are different than the other companies, and they are going to feel more welcome and at home with us?" How do we create a relationship right there at the point of that call? What are your thoughts on this? The quality of our motivational skill is directly related to the quality of our questions. A frustrated manager whose numbers are mediocre asks these kinds of questions instead of the questions just asked by our true leader above. "How you doing? What's up? How was your weekend? How is your department today? Up to your neck in it? Swamped as usual? Are you maintaining? Hang in there, bro. Customers giving you a hard time about that new ad? Jerks. I'm dropping by to check some stuff out. Don't worry too much. You guys are cool. I won't be too hard on you. You know the drill. Hang in." That's a leader who can't figure out why his team's numbers are low. The quality of that leader's life is directly affected by the low quality of his questions. Directly. A great leader will ask questions that lead to sales ideas. A great leader will build a big success on the implementation of those ideas. Questions like these. How could we make the buying experience at our company fundamentally different on a personal level than at the competition? How could we get our people to be like friends to the customer and get them to hang out with us more and buy more? How might we reward our people for remembering a customer's name? What are some of the ways we can inspire our team to get excited about increasing the size of each sale? Do our people discuss the concept of creating a customer for life? Have you gone to a whiteboard and shown them the financial windfall involved? How do we get everybody brainstorming this all day long? How do we get the team more involved in the success of the store? What are your thoughts? Method number 9. Accelerate change. Every organization must be prepared to abandon everything it does to survive in the future. By Peter Drucker. My role as a leader is always, always to keep my people cheered up, optimistic, and ready to play full out in the face of change. That's my job. Most managers do not do this. They see their role as babysitters, problem solvers, and firefighters. And so they produce babies, problems, and fires all around them. It's important to know the psychological reaction to change in your employees and how it follows a predictable cycle. Your employees pass through these 4 stages in the cycle, and you can learn how to manage this passage. The change cycle 1. Objection. This can't be good. 2. Reduced consciousness. I really don't want to deal with this. 3. Exploration. How can I make this change work for me? 4. Buy-in. I have figured out how I can make this work for me and for others. Sometimes the first 3 stages in the cycle take a long time for your people to pass through. Productivity and morale can take a dizzying dip as employees resist change. It is human nature to resist change. We all do it. We hate to get into the shower and then we hate to get out. But if I am a very good leader, I'll want to thoroughly understand the change cycle so that I can get my people up the stages to buy in as soon as humanly possible. I want their total and deep buy-in to make this change work for them, for me, and for the company. So how do I help move them through stages 1, 2, and 3? First of all, I prepare myself to communicate about this change in the most enthusiastic and positive way possible. And I mean prepare. As many great coaches have said, it isn't the will to win that wins the game, it's the will to prepare to win. So I want to arm myself. I want to educate and inform myself about the change so I can be an enthused spokesperson in favor of the change. Most managers don't do this. They realize that their people are resisting the change, so they identify with the loyal resistance. They sympathize with the outcry. They give voice to what a hassle the change is. They even apologize for it. They say it shouldn't have happened. This never should have happened. I'm sorry. With all you people go through. What a shame there's this now too. Every internal change is made to improve the viability or effectiveness of the company. Those arguments are the ones I want to sell. I want my people to see what's in this for them. I want them to really see for themselves that a more viable company is a more secure place to work. What about change from the outside? Regulators, market shifts, vendor problems? In those cases, I want to stress to my team that the competition faces the same changes. When it rains on the field, it rains on both teams. Then I want to stress the superiority of our team's rain strategy so that this rain becomes our advantage. I also want to keep change alive on my team as a positive habit. Yes, we change all the time. We change before we have to. This is the end of part 2. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video for part 3.